Are you saving money right now? Good. In a world obsessed with financial security and the importance of planning for the future, saving is widely encouraged. Tucking away a portion of your monthly income for a rainy day, retirement, or emergencies is considered a wise and prudent move. But here's a question most people rarely consider. What happens if everyone adopts this same behavior and stops spending altogether? Where does the economy go from there? At first glance, it might sound strange, even backwards. We're taught from a young age that being thrifty is a virtue, that saving is a sign of wisdom. But there's a deeper layer to this seemingly simple idea, one that reveals a fascinating and somewhat counterintuitive truth in economics. This concept is known as the Paradox of Thrift. It shows how one good habit, the act of saving, can, on a much larger scale, set off a chain reaction that sends an entire society into a recession. To grasp how this works, imagine a scenario. You've been eagerly awaiting the release of a brand new video game. The trailer is jaw-dropping. You've read glowing reviews and seen friends count down the days to its launch. You've set aside money for it, and the anticipation is palpable. But then, a thought creeps in a voice of reason. Maybe, you tell yourself, it's better to save the money. You convince yourself that skipping this purchase is the responsible thing to do. Here's the twist. You're not alone in that thought. In fact, everyone else who was excited about this game is thinking the exact same thing. Faced with uncertainty, a desire to save, or perhaps a loss of confidence in the economy, a collective choice emerges. People decide not to buy. So, what happens next? The game developer, expecting robust sales, is suddenly faced with a harsh reality. Sales numbers fall dramatically short. Without those sales, there's no revenue coming in. Without revenue, salaries can't be paid. Project budgets shrink. Planned titles are shelved or canceled outright. Employees get laid off. Studios may shut down. Suddenly, not only do you miss out on the experience of playing the game, but the very people who make the games, the developers, designers, artists, writers, are losing their jobs. And it's not just one studio. The impact ripples throughout the entire gaming industry, causing it to contract and shrink. Economist John Maynard Keynes explained this phenomenon and coined the term Paradox of Thrift. When one person decides to save more, it's a smart move, and it seems like a win. But when everyone, all at once, tries to increase their savings and reduces their spending together, something very different happens. With everyone buying less, total demand for goods and services drops. Businesses see fewer sales and their revenues fall. To cope, they cut costs first by reducing expenses, then by cutting back hours, delaying raises, and ultimately letting go of employees when the numbers become unsustainable. Job losses spread, and even those who manage to keep their positions begin to worry. Their response is understandable. They tighten their belts further, spending even less. This cycle continues, creating a downward spiral where demand falls, businesses struggle or fold, and unemployment rises. What began as an individually sensible act of saving morphs into a collective problem. This is how a recession can take root, not because of reckless spending, but ironically, because of too much caution. A vivid recent example of the paradox of thrift played out across the world during the COVID-19 pandemic. Faced with a global health crisis, people everywhere stayed home and sharply cut back on spending. Restaurants, already operating on thin margins, saw empty tables night after night. Some tried to pivot to takeout or delivery, but for many, the math didn't add up. Neighborhood favorites, family-run diners, small cafes, independent gyms, local shops suddenly found themselves underwater. Even with government assistance, grants, or loans, a staggering number couldn't survive the storm and shut their doors for good. These closures weren't just business failures. They reverberated through communities. Staff lost their jobs. Suppliers lost steady customers. The economic web, the interconnectedness of incomes, purchasing, and livelihoods quickly began to unravel in places large and small. The situation was about more than numbers. It touched families, friendships, and the health of entire neighborhoods. That leads us to a critical takeaway. Saving is essential. No question. Everyone should have the ability to weather unexpected downturns or plan for major life events. But if everyone hoards their money at once, refusing to spend, something else happens. Nobody buys anything, nobody gets paid, and the economic engine freezes up. So how do we strike the right balance? The answer lies in the thoughtful stewardship of our finances, not swinging to extremes of mindless consumption or absolute austerity. Spend wisely, not wastefully. Consider the impact your daily choices have, not just on your own budget, but on the broader community. That coffee at the local shop, the fitness class at the neighborhood gym, or the meal with family and friends at a favorite restaurant, all these small acts have ripple effects. They support business owners, help employees pay rent and put food on their own tables, and keep a network of shops, workers, and services alive and well. Let's look deeper at why this paradox exists. The health of modern economies is largely based on confidence, trust, and the steady flow of money. When you buy something, a book, a meal, a haircut, the money you spend becomes someone else's income. That income then helps them pay their bills or buy goods and services from yet another business, and so on. This continuous cycle is what keeps economies humming, giving rise to jobs, growth, and innovation. When everyone gets cautious at once and decides to save instead of spend, that flow slows down. The gears of the economy start to grind, creaking and stalling as people hold back, and it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Lower spending brings less income, which brings more uncertainty, which leads to even more saving. This is the heart of the paradox of thrift. Sensible choices made by individuals can collectively add up to less prosperity for everyone. But does this mean we should avoid saving altogether? Certainly not. Saving is a crucial part of a healthy financial plan. The key lesson here is not to swing the pendulum too far in either direction. Balanced financial behavior is best for both our personal well-being and for the collective good of our society. That means having a robust approach to saving, while also understanding that responsible spending supporting businesses, services, and workers is a vital part of economic health. So, what can you do? Save smart. Set aside what you reasonably can for your goals and emergencies, but also think about the role your everyday purchases play in shaping your community. Maybe it's ordering from a local restaurant once a week, buying handmade crafts at a neighborhood market, or simply tipping your barista a little more generously. These actions, as small as they may seem, accumulate and sustain a vibrant community. Spend responsibly. Avoid the trap of consumerism, where mindless spending leads to debt and insecurity. Instead, focus on thoughtful purchases, support businesses that share your values, invest in products and services that bring real benefit to your life, and take care of your needs without excess. Being a responsible spender is not at odds with being a smart saver. The two can, and should, go hand in hand. Above all, remember this. Economics isn't just about numbers, charts, and abstract concepts. At its core, it's about people. It's about the livelihoods of your neighbors, the dreams of small business owners, the well-being of friends and family members, and your place within a wide and interconnected community. Every dollar you spend is another thread in the fabric that holds that community together. When you save, you're thinking of your future, and that's a good thing. But if you ever pause to wonder about the broader implications, remember the paradox of thrift. Saving is good, essential, even, but if everyone does it all at once and stops spending, we all end up worse off. Sometimes, spending responsibly can be one of the best investments you can make, not just for yourself, but for everyone around you. If this helped you see money in a new light, and if the idea of the paradox of thrift has given you a fresh way to look at our economy, then remember to share this insight. When we understand the true nature of saving and spending, we empower ourselves to make better choices for our wallets, our communities, and our shared future. So, as you consider your next purchase, whether it's that long-awaited video game, a meal at a favorite cafe, or something as small as a cup of coffee down the block, know that your decision matters. Your actions are part of a larger story, one that we all share. Save smart, spend responsibly, keep the economy and the world around you alive and thriving. And never forget, the economy is not something distant or abstract. It's us, all of us, working together day by day. Saving is good, but when taken to the extreme, it might be hurting more than just yourself.